everyone. Welcome to Title the Podcast.
With Joe.
And Joe.
Hello. Welcome back.
Hi.
Episode
10.
Uy, naka-10 na tayo.
Wow. May nakikinig pala sa atin.
Wala, nag-upload lang tayo.
Well, number 10 per subscriber.
Yes.
Uy, may nagsasalita
sa likod.
Oh, we have a special guest today.
Yes.
Please do the honor of introducing our guest.
Ha?
Wow.
Yan, ang guest namin today.
In English, please.
Ay, in English.
Yes.
Inglesera kasi si Madam. No. No, our guest today is one of our dear friends. We've known her for...
More than 10 years. Oh my God.
Wow, more than 10 years. Yeah.
For
so
sure.
she's a doctor in the Philippines, and now she's a nurse here in Vancouver. We met at church, and then Joe and her met at work.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've been through a lot of things together. A couple different houses. a couple different landlords, and a couple other things. And so without further ado, I want to welcome Candice.
Yay!
Thanks for having me.
Thanks
Welcome.
Yeah. So, kaya namin invite si Candice ngayon kasi papakonsulta talaga kami.
At wala kayong binayad na MSP. Yeah.
Wala kaming pambayad.
I knew it.
Wala kaming pambayad kaya sabi namin sa podcast. Joke.
Okay, just to give a little background, me and Candice used to be roommates.
Roomies.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
housemates.
For
We
the
shared,
past 9 years.
Yes.
Wow, and
Our
then-
longest relationship.
Our longest
ever.
relationship.
And then before that, Candice and I used to be housemates.
Yes.
And then we were workmates.
And then we were workmates.
We were
Yeah.
workmates first.
Huh?
Yeah.
Competitive!
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we were workmates first with Joe.
But you were housemates
So
first.
we were churchmates first, and then we became housemates. And then you became workmates with Joe.
And
And then you
yeah.
became roommates.
Mhm. And then
The rest is history.
And then
So
after that, we became
I just
workmates.
bounced back between Joe and Joe. That's it.
Ayun.
Ping pong.
I know. I feel like a ball.
But one of the reasons we brought Candice in today was because we were recently talking about our summer plans. And one of the things that's coming up for this summer is that Candice's dad is coming over. And so that conversation then led to, ang hirap magpalaki ng magulang.
Which is our topic for today. So,
Ahem.
parenting the parents.
Parenting the parents.
Yes.
So, ayun.
It's our generational crisis, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the things that people don't talk about enough, but actually happens to everyone. Like, you know,
Especially in our culture. Yes.
yes, and I think this is, I was reminded about when we first had our first guest, when we had Andrea, we were talking about singleness.
Mhm.
And one of the things we talked about was how we tend to see life in stages. Diba? Na parang, you start out with being single, tapos you get married, tapos you have kids.
Yeah.
And you know, we talked a lot about how we don't want to get confined by that. But one of the things that came out of yung understanding na ganon, I think sometimes people stop with, nagkaanak na sila, and then
Yeah.
they built a family, ganon. We forget na after nun, meron pang kasunod.
Aha.
Pag lumaki ka na, at lumaki na yung mga anak mo, ang papalaki mo na ngayon, parents mo.
Yes, because it's their turn to be parented.
It's their turn to be parented.
So, let's start with the start.
Let's start with what stage we're
So,
at.
what generation is your parents now?
My dad is a boomer.
He was born in the
He's born in the 40s.
40s.
Oh.
Yeah.
How about
Post-war.
your parents, Joe?
My parents,
They'd be the same generation as me.
I don't know how old my parents are.
Dude, they're the same generation.
I think my parents were born in what, 60s, 70s?
Yeah.
60s. My parents were born, I believe, in the 60s. Ikaw, Joe.
My mom, siya na lang kasi ang surviving parent.
She's like 50s.
In the 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're at different generations and we're at different stages.
Interesting, no?
Yeah.
Yes. Pero the challenges.
Challenges seem to be the same.
There are a lot of similar challenges. Na, where do we start?
Ano
nabibigyan na sila.
Generational
Oh my
differences.
Generational differences.
Yes.
Ano mo, I think, it's not really differences. Similarities talaga. Matigas ang ulo niya ng lahat.
I think ito yung parang bumaliktad na talaga yung roles. Na dati tayo yung matigas ang ulo. Ngayon
Yeah,
sila na matigas
But to be fair, in their generation, their parents were also strict.
Yes.
Not like now. Parents are more accepting, more open to, the new generation.
Totoo, I think, honestly, if I'm gonna be reflecting on it, parang I think this whole transition into raising your parents or parenting your parents starts when you finally actually enter adulthood. Not when you turn 18 or 21 or 19, wherever the legal age is in your
When
place.
they deem that you're mature enough or responsible enough.
When they start realizing that you're an adult and then the dynamics at home shift. Di ba? Parang from, anak ko yan, na inuutusan ka, magpapaalam ka for everything,
Yeah.
to all of a sudden na they realize, wait, may trabaho na siya.
And
May
they
sarili
don't
siyang
even bother
savings.
asking me anymore.
Yeah, because then they also realize, wait, I don't control them anymore. They don't actually need my permission for certain things.
Well, in Joe and my case, we moved out. So
Yes.
physically, we were out of their hair.
Mhm.
So we don't even have to ask them anymore.
Or so we thought.
Oh, yes. That's true. That's true.
I think that's when the dynamic shifted kasi they start realizing na, to an extent, there's a level na of, parang nag-equalize na kayo kasi hindi ka na bata sa paningin nila eh. As Asians, we definitely still hold to the
rules are
the
still
roles,
there.
the roles and the rules. The roles and the rules are still there na elders natin yan sila. So there's a level of respect.
We
There's a
have
level
that,
of
the filial piety thing.
Mhm,
Yes.
It doesn't go away. Pero even as that kind of transitions, parang tingin na nila adults na kayo ngayon. Tapos doon siya nagsimula.
Yes and no.
Papagalitan ka pa rin eh.
Yeah. Because you know what? Sometimes, like, sa generation nila, like, let's say not just the parents, even my aunts, no, they still treat you as like a kid. Kind of.
In
Yeah,
certain
no.
situations,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
can see it.
they don't look at you as you're adult.
Mm.
Like, no, you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s.
No, they still
It
treat you
doesn't
like you're like
matter.
16 or like 14.
Which is like, we're adults now.
like, Tita, I'm no longer 14, I'm 40.
It's weird kasi you're like, parang it's both. There are things na, ano ka ba, laki-laki mo na, ba't ginagawa pa rin yan? Or, they'll try to control certain decisions.
Yeah.
And then there are certain situations na if
They'll
you...
infantilize you.
Yeah. Tapos, the flip side naman doon, pag kunyari, hingi ka ng pera, o hingi ka ng tulong, ang sagot naman nila, sabi nila, hala, laki-laki mo na, kailangan pang hingi ng pera.
Hindi ka ba binabayaran ng taba sa trabaho mo?
I know, convenient lang sa kanila kung kailan ka adult at kung kailan ka bata.
Which is like, oh my gosh, are people really thinking about us that way? Na
I love
we
how
can handle
adaptive they
things.
get. They're so adaptive.
They're so flexible.
We've underestimated them.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think that's the first challenge that we're naming, is that there is
The perception.
Yes, there's a nuance in the perception. And that's one of the first things that makes it challenging to navigate this new situation. Kasi diba, before our parang a lot of our relationships always are nuanced naman. Pero some of them are very defined. Like yung relationship natin with our parents, at least with most people, relationship nila with parents, very defined. Diba na parental figure, bata ka, you're growing up, sila ang legal guardian mo to an extent. So very set yung relationship.
Yeah.
And then we grew up, now the perceptions have to change. Now the relationship has to change. And that's the first step. I think that's what I'm trying to name kanina. That was when everything started. Na, now we're parenting the parents. Now there's a shift into that dynamic.
You can start. It starts with the little things, as what Joe had mentioned earlier, is the tech challenges that they didn't have before.
Oh my gosh, yes.
My dad has an email that he never ever opened that he asked my brother to create. So he himself has no idea what his email is. And if he does get an email there, he will ask him to print the email out.
To print.
not to,
No,
read it on the screen?
No, because you can't even open it on the screen or the screen's too small. So you gotta print it out in large font for him.
Oh my goodness.
Magnified 100 times.
Yes. So like that's one of those challenges, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a sample of what we
Because in
get.
fairness, they didn't grow up with
They
technology.
didn't. No.
No.
They're the analog generation.
Mm.
We're the ones that grew with technology
Grew with
Yeah.
technology. The internet started becoming a thing
with us.
when we were in school.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Floppy disk.
It was slowly
Yeah.
becoming a thing. Our
I have the
typing
save icon.
in real life.
Yes, I do.
At the dial-up internet.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
gosh,
that sound.
That's our generation.
Oh my god.
Tsaka yung
Green screen.
transition from
Green screen. It was green screen.
Yeah.
It was this huge CRT monitor. Oh my gosh. Yes. The
yung
funky ones.
transition from typing classes
From
to
DOS.
computer classes.
Excuse me, I had a typewriter.
I did have a
the
typing
one that you have to like mash your fingers on. I had that.
With all your might.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like an intense upper body workout. Worse
It
than
is.
piano. Yeah.
Tapos after nun, computer na.
No, electric typewriter. Ano ka ba?
Hindi kami dumadaan, poor kami. Walang electric typewriter sa school namin.
May
In
electric
fairness naman,
typewriter.
nag-upgrade sila sa computer.
MS-DOS.
Yeah.
Lotus, excuse me, Lotus.
Hindi ko na.
Word perfect.
Windows 95 naman ako.
See, ibang
My
generation.
those were the
Those
days.
Yeah. So they
It was
didn't
fun.
grow up with that. Their
Yes, kasi-
dial-up is like the rotary phone.
Yeah, kasi at that point, they were already working na. Established na sila in their ways.
Yeah.
Tayo, bata pa kami nun. So,
Ano bang
We were
advance sa
like
kanila?
10 at that time.
so we were
We're
learning
just
it.
17.
No, yung mga advanced sa kanila was the fax machine. That was like revolutionary for them already.
Yes, and then the cell phone.
Cell phone, yes.
To be fair naman, they adapted to the cell phone.
Beepers.
Beepers muna, and then cell phone. When the cell phone came, they adapted to the cell phones pretty well.
At that time, you have to call the
The
Cell
number.
phone number. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, you had to
what's
call
your
the
message?
operator.
And they will.
They will garble all the time. The
And
messages
you have to
will get
spell it
garbled.
pa.
I remember my barkada.
Mm.
He was asking his girlfriend to meet him at Jollibee.
Oh.
Somehow the message got around to meet me at Charlie B.
Saan si Charlie B?
Sino si Charlie B?
Oh my goodness.
Nagka-issue
So
pa tuloy
before
sila.
Starbucks misspellings, it was
Ang original talaga.
easy call.
I don't even remember what they're called. Oh my gosh, but yeah, kailangan mag-page.
Yeah, so it's very
Thinking.
different from what they know as well.
Yes.
Kaya I think that's also part of the challenges that they had because they had to adapt to so many changes already. Pagod na sila eh.
Totoo. Tapos parang I think they got to the point, and then this is yung parang sa akin.
Technology fatigue.
Yeah, pero this is sa akin parang very telling. Di ba parang remember, nung bata ka, something's not working sa bahay. Hindi gumagana yung TV, hindi gumagana yung ano. Mami, hindi gumagana yung TV. Or daddy, yung ano hindi nagpa-play.
Yung bunny ears. Kailangan mo galawin
Yung antena, kailangan galawin, kailangan may pa-song and dance ka pa.
May bunny
Yeah.
ears.
Tapos parang, sabi ko, kailan nangyari to? Ngayon sila na tumatawag na, uy, nak, ba't yung internet di gumagana? Sabi ko, mali ko.
But you know what? The one thing, maybe you can agree or disagree. Their generation, I actually like their generation because life is more simpler.
It was.
There's no technology and people actually show up on time.
No, depends on who the person
No,
is.
there's no cell phones at that time, right?
Mm.
They would just, hey, let's meet up at this place
And
at
if you
this
don't
time.
show up on time, then you get left behind. That's it. Period. Simple.
I guess so. I mean, Filipino time was still a thing.
Yeah, but like if you don't
Yes,
show
but
up
it's
and then you
different.
get left
Like, you
behind,
don't need to
get
text
left
10
behind.
million messages to someone you're meeting at 1 o'clock.
That's true. You actually had to stay. I think the thing was, you actually had to stay where you were
Oh.
for them to come.
Yeah.
Whereas ngayon, it's like, ay, malilate ako. Sige, maglalakad muna kami doon. Hanapin muna lang kami doon sa kabilang side ng mall.
Yeah, we're
Ngayon,
so easily
hindi.
distracted nowadays.
Yeah.
I think it's because technology also progressed slowly for them. That they had like little stop points to
That's
at least
true.
like stay, adapt, and utilize this technology for their benefit before the next big thing came around.
That's true. Now everything is exponentially
Faster.
So
I know that they're also keeping up. So they did try to keep up back then. It's just not the same pace as how change has been.
And I think feel ko din also, they don't have the need to keep up with it as much.
No.
Kasi yung mga friends nila are not on it. If you think about, when we adapted Friendster, Multiply, Facebook,
Oh my
we
God.
started
We
going
are
out to
aging
din-
ourselves here.
I mean, we already talked about DOS and Windows 95. I think at this point, wala tayong kawala. Di ba parang, if you think about the technology you would adapt, you adapt to it kasi may mga kausap ka doon. Di ba? You're like none of us right now are on Snapchat because none of us have community on Snapchat. Are you on Snapchat, Joe?
No, I never got into it. Like, I had it on my phone and never used it. I was like, no.
I used it for a bit.
I did.
I tried it, but I never got into
I
it.
never really got into it
Kasi
either.
wala ka nang kausap doon.
No, kung hindi, may kausap ka, pero like they're not
Weirdo.
your
Just
topic.
didn't like it. I just didn't like it.
You know, things like that. So parang if I think about like my parents, for example, specifically, my dad is with his job, he's required to practically be on his phone a lot. So he's very used to navigating emails, Viber, WhatsApp, all these different kinds of messengers to deal with clients and coworkers, ganon. Yung mom ko naman, hindi na siya nag-email kasi for her, wala naman na siyang kausap sa email. So work nila, puro
They don't.
text and call.
Yeah.
Tapos sa mga friends naman niya, Viber or Facebook Messenger.
Bagay. It's what you use.
Yeah, so parang for her, email is a necessity kasi there are certain things she needs to create an email account for, just, to log into certain things. But in her everyday life,
She doesn't really
She
need
doesn't
to check
need
it.
it.
Yeah.
so for her, it's not a big loss to not have it on her phone,
True.
to not have the password saved somewhere na madali niya makukuha. So kasi sabay-sabay na tuloy sila. Na parang, if I would assume they're all on cell phones right now kasi when they all started, they were all working. So yung mga friends nila, co-workers nila, barkada nila, sabay-sabay kumuha ng mga phone, di ba?
And then they all had the same platforms too.
Yeah.
So that they could talk to each other.
Yes, and then that was what they were using to make
Text.
plans, to text, di ba?
Text. Back then, SMS.
Yeah. Ngayon, iba-iba na sila ng...
Na ngayon, pag nag-SMS ka, scammer ka. So yeah,
It's all messenger now.
It's all
Yeah, so they
Messenger
have to
now.
change with the times if they do use it. True. So I
So-
guess that's why.
The technological advances. And we're seeing, honestly, I'm seeing some of that now too, even for myself, where I'm starting to see just the difference between what my parents are adapting versus what I'm adapting versus what the generation after me is adapting.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm starting to see myself in the shoes of my parents. I'm like, ganito ba yung feeling na napag-iiwanan ka?
Ay, matagal ko nang nakaramdaman yan.
Sabi ko, ha? Ano daw? Ano yung language na gamit nila?
What's risen?
What? Reads kasi. Crisis reason ba? Anong reason?
What?
Risen.
Yung the reason nga na, the skibidi toilet. I was like,
I don't get it.
And then I'm starting to understand the resistance to adapt to it. Because in my brain, I'm like, I don't need.
Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
And so I'm guessing the things for us that are necessary, are necessities in everyday life. Our parents are probably looking at us like, those are not necessities. I'm like, I don't need to
That's
learn
how
that.
useless to be.
Yeah, they're like, I don't need to learn that. And in my head, I'm like, no, but you're needing that in this world. And I'm guessing some of the people younger than me are looking at me and I'm being like, what do you mean you don't want to learn this? You need this. I'm like, do I?
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
fine.
I'm fine.
It's like
No
Slack.
thanks.
Yeah.
What's this? Another stupid app that I have to learn? And then to learn that all my bosses are on it. And then just to realize, oh shit, my bosses are way younger than I am. Ooh.
Yeah. I know. So yeah, I guess so. The first one we noticed was the changes in perception with our relationship.
Yeah.
The second thing I think we're pointing out is what we're leaning towards now is the difference is
It's the
partly due
generational
to the
development, yeah.
technological advancements.
Yeah.
And what they've decided to or not decided to adapt
Yeah.
to.
The adaptability.
Yeah. And then I think that's where it's slowly starting na doon na sila nag-realize sa atin.
And that's when we
Yeah.
have to parent the parents.
That's when we start
Because hindi na nila
actually
mabubuksan yung
parenting.
email nila.
Yeah. Email ganito. Or pwede ba ikaw tumawag din sa ganito? Kailan ba yung mag-book ng appointment sa ganyan? I'm like, wait, weren't you the one
Yes,
booking
man.
appointments for
Especially
me?
now, everything's online.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I look at these apps and these day-to-day things that we have to do. Like, look at it. Banking.
Mm-hmm.
In our parents' day, they had to like line up
Yeah,
and actually talk to a person.
yes. They didn't even
Nowadays-
have passbooks.
And they had passbooks. And nowadays, there's no passbooks.
It's
There's no person.
Mm-hmm.
It's all an app. You don't even have to line up. And then they get frustrated because even the calls are robocalls.
Yes.
So they'll ask you to do the phone call because they have no patience to listen to that automated voice message.
Yes.
So yes,
I mean,
you
I
are
don't have
also
patience
their
for it.
digital valet.
I don't either.
Congratulations, we are now their digital valets.
Yeah, now EAs. PA, personal
Yes.
assistant.
That's where we are at right now. But
Totoo.
then again, you know, you kind of like realize, oh, yeah, I'm not gonna make him sit through that because tataas na ang blood pressure niya, and then he's gonna blow his top, and then pupunta na naman sa'yo, bakit may pula dito sa mata ko? Kasi sumabog ang blood vessel mo. Kasi
Oh my
tumaas ang blood pressure mo. Dahil dyan sa yung pag-aantay dyan sa automated voice message. Na, kasi dapat ikaw na lang tumawag eh. Sige na.
It's
sige
still
na.
your fault.
It's
Sige na,
still
sige
your
na. I can't do
fault.
anything right.
Pero totoo, parang you realize, gawin ko na nga lang kasi mas madali.
The path to least resistance.
Yeah, so, sometimes I'm their personal IT.
Mm.
How do you do this? Step by step by
Yeah.
step. Or you have to press this button. Or you have to enter your password like this. Make sure it's correct.
Teka, bilis mo, wala pa ako doon. Ano yung password? Saan?
Or sometimes you have to show it on your phone. Oh, this is how you do it.
But
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
no, that's where we are. But yeah, that's where we are. We've all had like a.
But it's kind of fun
instances of
to
that.
teach them in some way. Sometimes, if you have patience.
Okay, my dad has now gotten Facebook.
Okay.
Are you
And so-
friends?
At first, I thought it was a scam. Because what the heck is this? Apparently, my dad is now on Facebook because his friends are on Facebook.
O, di ba? Yung pag-adapt
Oh, they
mo
have
nga
a
ng new
community.
technology.
Okay, ito na yung problema. He has learned how to send videos. The hour-long videos that he loves, that I have no time for.
Bakit hour long?
Because he loves these things. You know, they're retired, right?
They have all the time in the world.
Better to do. Why? And the messages. Why haven't you viewed that video? It's important. No, it's not that. No, it's not that. It's something to do with somebody ranting about something in a language that I don't even understand anymore. Like, come on, Dad. No. There's no subtitles. I can't understand it. Bye.
Ay, totoo.
Yeah.
Ay.
But yeah, at least you can see that they do have the ability to learn.
They do.
If they
As
want
long
to.
as they want to. Yes, as long as they want to.
If they want to, it's big. Because usually they don't. And then you're like,
But there's
ganito ba yung feeling nila nun before? Pag yung pinapalaki nila mo, nung pinapakilala nila tayo, and then we're like, Mommy, I don't want that.
At least you could talk back. I can't do that.
Oh, I guess that's true. No, I mean like when we were kids, diba?
No, we don't
I
talk
don't-
back. Wala kaming ganyan dun sa amin.
Siyempre, I did, pero nasampal ako. Pero I did. I have the ability to talk back. May bayad lang. Sumasagot ka pa.
Okay. Kung ayaw mo magulpi.
Gusto mong maguto?
Sa generation nila, there's no, yung mga bantay bata.
Ay, wala. Wala talagang
Yeah.
ganyan. Sila ang bantay bata.
Child abuse is not a thing.
No,
I mean,
they don't
the
even
generation.
bantay. Oh my gosh, alala ko yan. Because for all of us cousins, we were like various ages.
Uh-huh.
O sige kayo mga bata, doon na kayo sa swimming pool. Nobody of us is lifeguard safe.
Walang ibabantay. Oo.
Bahala kayo dyan. Yeah, you learn.
You survive or you drown.
Yeah, you learn. Bahala kayo. Sige.
I mean, nung lumalaki naman ako, may 163 na. Para sa mga galing sa Pilipinas, there's this Bantay Bata 163.
That's like their 911.
Yeah, there's
for
like 1911 for children. You can call 163.
But like come
It's
on.
like CPS.
Yeah, like CPS.
Child Protection Services, yeah.
But
I think
hello.
I think
We
I
don't
had
have that
some
back then.
friends try it with their parents na isusumbong kita sa Bantay Bata. Hindi, sabi pa ng parents, di sige, tumawag ka, ito phone, no?
It's the Asian
Sige, sige, tumawag ka.
If you want to be disciplined, mag-have Asian mom.
Oh my gosh. You want to learn discipline? Go to your Asian mom.
You wanna get
friends.
very confused? Find an Asian parent.
Oh gosh.
Ang laki-laki mo na. Ba't di ka kumakain? Sabi mo, ang laki ko na.
Ano ba talaga gusto mo?
It's both ways.
That's the other thing. I haven't personally experienced this at Uno Parents, but I'm starting to see it with some of the other like aunties and uncles at church.
Mhm.
Dietary restrictions for your parents.
Oh my
Don't
God.
start on that. It's impossible. It's impossible to
Hindi
like
yung mga
restrict
ano
them.
na, yung mga, uy, tita hindi ka pwede niyan, may gout ka.
Subukan mo kaya.
Don't eat meat, you have gout.
Ano gusto mo? Mamamatay na lang ako?
Minsan lang yan.
Minsan lang. I'm like, yung maintenance mo. Okay, kaya nga may maintenance eh.
Alam mo, you don't need a lawyer. You need an Asian auntie to rationalize all of these things. They're so good at rationalizing. Nung nasa unit kami sa mga kidney patients, oh my gosh, you should hear how they rationalize. Ay, kasi minsan lang naman ako mag-potato chips eh. Bukas naman magda-dialysis na ako eh. Kaya okay na lang.
Tama, lilinisin naman bukas eh. Kaya nga nagda-dialysis, di ba?
Kaya nga kumain ako ng potato chips. Teka lang, tita, gano'ng karami nga palang kinain mo? Di isang bag. Gano'ng kalaki nga ba ang bag mo?
Family size.
Costco.
Costco size.
Costco. Yes, the best.
Magaling.
Magaling. Portion control, don't even talk to them about that. Ay, nako.
I know, it's like diba things before na...
Tapos sasabihan ka. Sasabihan ka, bakit 3 kinuha mo? Hindi ka makakain yung mga kasama mo.
Ay, naku.
It's
The
selective.
titas of Manila.
It is selective. It is real. It's selective and it depends on what they want.
Totoo. But that's the thing where you're starting to realize na part of caring for them now is actually making those choices.
And negotiating.
And negotiating. Parang yung sa bata na, o sige, if you eat your veggies, you can watch 1 hour of TV.
Tapos ma-realize mo, wala naman pala siyang sense of time. Yung 1 hour, pwede naman pala 30 minutes lang.
I-push mo lang yung clock ng konti.
It's similar to that on a different degree.
On a different degree.
Pero how about naman, syempre, right now, they're still able
There you
and capable.
Yes, by God's grace.
When it comes to the time, when they age more,
Or they're not capable already.
yeah, they start to have all this illness. That's a different story. That's
Oh, yeah.
a different kind of parenting to parents.
Yeah.
Absolutely
No, I had to
different.
undergo that kasi my mom had been bedridden during the last 6 months of having a bone marrow disease. So she was bedridden and it was progressively, it was fast, downhill talaga ng 6 months. So you could really see her lose control over what she was
Used
capable
to,
of.
yeah.
So nawala yung role niya, so we had to like fill in.
Step up.
Yeah, we had to step up. So I mean, that's where you can see HR at its best, right? Like, mom is gone, sinong magto-take ng you have to like farm out all these tasks na dati ginagawa niya.
Yes.
Yeah. And of course, like, no matter what, we also, it's our filial piety thing. We'll step up no matter what naman. Somebody will. We'll do it badly, but we'll learn.
We'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, we
Was
do
it
it. We do
so
it
hard
badly.
for you?
At first, because we're never used to doing that, right? So of course we would do everything badly. And then you learn.
It's not up part to the expectation.
Of course not. Like, I could never cook the way that my mom cooks, right? Like, in my dad's eyes, I'm a complete failure there. Siyempre naman, because like, hello, my mom had like decades of experience of cooking for him compared to us. Like, we were just taking it over, like, what, 2 weeks ago.
Tapos abrupt yung sa inyo. Hindi gradual.
Unplanned. Because like, hello, my mom's a total control freak in the kitchen. So, syempre naman, nung time na yan, ba't ka nandito sa kitchen? Kakainin mo lang. Out, get out of here. Kasi
magugulo ka lang eh.
Magugulo ka lang, kakainin mo lang lahat ng ingredients ko. Or kung hindi, matitimpla-timpla mo the wrong way. Go.
Yeah.
Shoo.
Get out of my kitchen.
So yeah, we never really learned, right? So, sino ba nakatuto? Yung mga katulong namin na mas magaling pang magluto kaysa sa amin. So yeah, you had to figure out how to do all that, right? And then they rely on you on certain things din kasi wala na silang control over that eh. Yeah. And makikita mo that that's when the roles get reversed. Yeah. Ikaw na nag-aalaga sa kanila.
Can you say na at that
needs.
time, you were forced to actually grow up?
Yeah. I was forced to mature because
And plus, you're the eldest.
ako yung eldest, so of course I had to like step in. So I didn't work at that time.
And ikaw yung doctor, so they relied on you to have knowledge of the
As if
hospital.
I know everything, right? No, we don't.
Pero alam mo dahil sa Pilipinas.
We expect, yeah, it's different. It's
eldest
different.
ka na, doctor ka pa, so, she'll know what to do sa hospital.
Heck
She'll know
no!
how to talk to the nurses. She'll know how to talk to the doctor.
Well, I did figure out how to because, like, of course, that's part of the things that we did before, but in a different capacity. Now I'm the relative of the patient. I'm not anymore one of their colleagues.
Yeah.
I'm the relative of the patient. Diba?
Iba yung
The
dynamic.
representative of the patient.
Iba ang role mo.
Yeah.
Right? Iba ang role mo, iba yung pagka-advocacy mo. It's not the same.
How old yung mom mo when that happened?
She was 58 to 59. So she passed away at 59.
So very abrupt nga kasi at that point, she was very lively pa din. She was doing
Okay,
everything.
a few months before she had the diagnosis, she even went over to the US. She
Yeah, the
went
trip
to visit a lot of our relatives all across the US, from the East Coast to the West Coast. Mas magaling pa siya maglakad kaysa sa dad ko. My dad had blisters.
She was fine.
She was fine. Yeah. That's why everybody was like surprised. Yeah, when the time came that when she had been bedridden and everything, we had to be forced to step up. So no matter what, alam mo yun, no regrets pa rin. Kasi if I didn't, you wouldn't really. I mean, part of you wants to spend whatever time that you can.
Yes.
Of course.
And the other part is like, begrudgingly, yes, it made me grow up and made me realize how much she really had to sacrifice for us.
Yes.
Because looking at how many decades did she spend doing this for us, and for us to like be doing it only for 6 months and hirap na kami.
And tatlo pa kayong magkakapatid
And
na.
tatlo kami na nagsa-step up for one person,
Yeah.
right? So yeah. So it makes you realize like, yeah, they did go through a lot to take care of this for us. Like the levels of things that they had to learn that they had totally no interest in before. Like, wow, a first-time parent navigating into the world of kindergarten. What the heck, diba?
Or budgeting for the home.
Budgeting, yeah. Having suddenly running the business because you need to provide for the family.
Yeah.
Eh, wala namang Google dati.
What? Totoo.
Yeah.
Walang
Nothing.
Google. Walang ChatGPT.
Meron lang yung mga, sino ba ChatGPT nila? Kumpare!
Mare, paano yung ano? That's true.
Her main role was really to take care of you guys.
Yeah.
In the household.
The household, the business, like she really was there. So for us to suddenly find ourselves like having to do this, like, wow!
I know. I remember you were sharing this before na parang one of the things na you had to start doing, or I think it was you or your sister had to start doing, was yung preparing the menu for the house.
Gosh. Just thinking about the menu, it like bring so much trauma to my sister.
And it's the thing that you don't really think about that needs to be done because you're like, at that point, diba, you were all adults. You were all doing your own thing. So you just come home, you eat, and things are fine. And you have the basic concept of budgeting, you have the basic concept of how much things cost. Iba pala pag yung sabi mo ni kwento mo before na doing it for the family,
Oo.
you need a budget for the week.
Hindi
You need
lang
to
yan.
figure out what to order, what
And you
to
need
buy.
to make sure that everybody will eat it.
Yes.
Because like may kanya-kanya kaming mga whatever na preferences.
Mhm.
Yeah. And when my sister like had gotten around to doing it, medyo na-perfect na niya ng konti. Pero syempre, baka pa rin blah 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 si dad kasi like she was...
Because it's
she was,
never like how mom did it.
of course not, because she was like covertly trying to cut back on certain things that he was not supposed to be eating.
See? The diet nga!
It all boils down to the diet. You cannot like change that quality. It has to taste good pa rin. So you have to like, what?
Pero ang taas na ng sodium niya, so you cannot taste the same.
Yun na nga kaya nga ginagawa nga niya was like covertly lowering it. So yung mga less sodium or yung sodium
Yung mga
free,
light.
yung mga light, yung mga ganyan.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, it's like dun sa aso.
Mm.
You know when you change the dog food to a different brand? There's like the 70-30 tapos yan the whole week of 70% of old food.
You're
and
slowly
30%.
mixing the old food and the new
Yes!
food.
So yung salinity levels have to be like that din. Kasi yung dating toxic na whatever soy sauce na yan na super daming whatever flocculants and whatever na sobrang alat na yan na gustong-gusto ng dad ko. My sister had to gradually shift because una, we have terrible supply chains in Manila.
Yeah.
They always ran out.
Yeah.
So you have to shift.
Mahirap
to
ang brand loyalty sa Pilipinas.
Yes. So you have to shift to something else, right? Or other alternatives. So you have to stockpile and do that in advance.
Tapos nagki-chemist siya, mag-mix siya.
Week 1 is 70-30. Week 2 is 50-50. Week 3 is 30-70. Yung mga ganun, di ba? Yung mga...
Hanggang sa ma-acclimatize siya dun sa lasa.
Kaya nga, it's like, wow. The amount of things we had to do.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, like, I'm listening to your story about this, and I'm reminded of some of the stories of my friends now who are new moms.
Yes.
Because it's the same thing that they do with their babies.
That's the same
Like,
thing,
we have to
right?
change
Yeah.
this formula kasi wala nang stock. So, pero the baby won't drink it. The baby doesn't like it. So we need to mix it, slowly introduce.
The covert nutritionist. You
Yeah.
have to do that.
Parang placebo.
Oo, kailangan. But like, what choice do you have? Diba? Anong choice mo? Hindi kakain si baby? Hindi kakain yung tatay mo?
Tama.
Oh, diba? So, yeah.
Or, pinakain mo siya ng lahat ng gusto niya, edi siya naman ang magkasakit. Siya naman ang sumunod sa ospital.
Oo nga, ayaw mo naman ng ganyan. Like, yeah, we need to balance that out din. So, it's parenting the parents and parenting the children. It's kind of similar to a different degree. And parenting. Asok.
Parenting. Honestly, parang mas madali pa ngayon.
Well, you're only stuck with it for 10 plus years, right? So, yeah.
And they don't talk back.
Who says? Magpupupo yan bigla
What
dyan
can
sa
we
gitna.
say na
Oh.
is it really the children's responsibility to take care of their parents?
Ay, controversial.
I think
Something, yeah.
some people think it is, but like, I think there's something wrong with your parenting ability if you have to bribe your children to take care of you.
True. Because some people will do that. Especially back
Withhold
home, like,
the mana.
pinag-aral ko kayo, ganito, ganyan.
They'll guilt trip you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
it should just come naturally.
I don't know if it's responsibility. I don't want to use the word responsibility.
Obligation?
Obligation. I think it's maybe I'm idealistic because in my head I'm like, I personally am doing it out of love. Parang pagtanaw ng utang na loob. So not na utang talaga.
Not
No.
like you owe them for
Not that I owe them anything.
It's because like back then they did it for you.
Yeah.
So now that they need you, I'm doing it for them.
Mm-hmm.
It can get tiring,
if you're
yeah,
doing it
but
for
like,
the right
but like,
purpose.
yeah, you're doing it for the right reasons. But it doesn't mean that you don't get tired.
Absolutely.
There's still the compassion fatigue and all that. So
Absolutely.
that's why you need to take turns, and you also need to like be clear na okay, baka pwede naman mag-day off na muna si Intay.
Mm-hmm. And I think I like that you mentioned it might be a reflection of your parenting. Because, we're talking as Asian people who grew up in households that are...
How guilt-ridden we are.
Yeah, well, but also, diba, on the positive side, we grew up in households that are very steeped in culture, very steeped
Tradition.
in familial ties, tradition.
Tradition.
And we're
Close
also like
family time.
close family ties, extended families.
And they all live in the
And
one
they all live
house.
in one house or
Yes.
one compound
The
or like
multi-generational families.
yeah, so like parang, and then we see the examples of what our parents and our aunties and uncles did for their parents.
Yeah.
And and then you see, so you've seen that mirrored for you.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the for me, the reason that question is a bit harder for me to fully kind of, answer just directly. Because as people now that living in North America, the culture is also very different.
Yeah.
The expectation for kids are very different. Like we all lived at home until we were like in our 30s. Because our parents are not going to kick us out.
No,
'Cause
they'll just subtly...
They'll keep subtly saying, oh, ba't di ka pa kinakasal? Kailan ka magkakasal? Pero pag nag-asawa ka naman, kailan mo dadalhin mga apo mo dito? Bakit hindi kayo bumibisita? Dito na lang kayo tumira para maalagaan ko yung mga... Like we have... It's very different for us in Asia or Filipinos and Filipino Chinese specifically na we have that sense of understanding na when our parents are taking care of us, they're taking care of us for as long as they could.
Yeah.
Wala yung yung very common in the Western societies na you're 18, you're an adult, you need to start paying rent, or you're an adult, go figure your own stuff out. We're gonna start going on cruises, going on our own thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a choice.
They have pros and cons. Okay.
Yeah,
Both-
and then also that's
both
how
have pros and cons.
that's how they were raised. That's how they
That's
knew
what they know.
That's what they know. That's how their relationship with their parents were.
Yeah.
And that's probably how they felt that, they grew because their parents did that to them. So now they're doing that to their
That's
kids.
how they're like instilling independence and
Yeah.
like having that adulthood rite of passage. That's how they instilled that in them.
Yeah. So I think for us, I like that Candice you brought up now. It's a parenting thing because at the end of the day, the parents are the ones who brought this kid into this world. The kids did not have a choice. So the way you raise them, the way you instill in them certain values, will inform your relationship with them in the future.
Yeah.
About how you treat them, how your relationship is with them. I know some people who don't have a good relationship with their parents.
Yeah. Some of the others, there are no contact with the
Yeah.
parents.
And it's partly like I would say it's always it always takes two to tango, right?
Yeah.
So
Kinda
I
sad
would
though.
say, diba, part of it, syempre may ginawa din yung bata.
Yeah.
But also, may responsibility din yung parents kung
Yeah.
ba't sila nagkaganon. So I think that's a long-winded way of answering na, is it your responsibility?
Or was it their responsibility back then that they didn't fulfill?
But then, okay, I'll give you a situation. How about, let's say, the kids are all grown up. They have their own life na, family, whatever. But then, let's say, the parent na lang nag-iisa. Parang they don't take care of the parent at all. It's kind of like,
It's kind of sad.
it's sad and it's kind of hurts. Diba? Parang, this is your parent. You should at least be able to take care, especially if you're all professionals. That's the
Or-
least you can do for your parent.
Or if you don't know how, at least have someone,
Mm,
or
to look after.
or like support someone who can take care of
Because
the
there
parent.
are situations like that too.
Mm-hmm.
I think in that situation, diba, parang, how can you be a parent to your parent when your parent is all alone na lang?
Mm-hmm.
Diba? I think, rin yun, that's gonna be your responsibility as a child. Na parang you should take care of your parent as well, diba?
And I think that's very Asian of us to say, because it's quite Asian for us to actually value family so much. And I don't actually believe, as sad as it is, I don't actually believe all cultures value that relationship to that
I
extent.
agree.
Yeah.
Like when you
we see
say it like that, when you paint the picture of hala mag-isa na lang yung parent mo, tas like I think the three of us would agree na, oh my gosh, that is sad. Like if I can either physically help or financially help, I would, because in my head that's family.
Yeah.
Di ba na parang I don't it doesn't feel right to me personally to let
That's
family
You
be
don't
alone.
You don't turn back.
You don't turn your back on family, diba? But that I've found is a very,
It's a
very,
common
very,
scenario though.
yeah, and it's a very, relatively very Asian thing to say.
Mhm.
And to add to that, the parent would never want to ask for help for this
It's a pride
children
thing
niya.
as well.
Not really pride, but most of the time na parang, I don't want to disturb them.
Pride nga.
Or, no, it's not pride eh. Na parang,
They don't want. It's the
I don't want to
fun
be a
thing.
burden.
It's the fun thing.
I
I
don't
don't want to
want-
be a burden.
I don't want to be a burden to
Yeah.
my children.
Yeah.
I can do it on my own.
Yeah.
I just don't want to
Yeah,
burden
that's
them.
the one that don't mafan them.
The I will rather suffer in silence. On
Yes,
my
the
own.
martyr
The
complex.
martyrdom.
Yes.
Totoo.
Yeah.
But that's true, di ba? There's a lot of people na ganun na situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think like no matter what, it's best to keep an open communication. Like, I know it's kind of hard to have these kinds of conversations with parents because they don't want to confront their own mortality.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to bring up that conversation. But I think it's a need to have conversation. Eventually, we're gonna get older. Eventually, we're gonna lose faculties, and we're gonna lose like certain things.
Yes.
So
No matter how hard-headed they are.
yeah, but I'd like to know what your thoughts are, so that we know what to do and what your wishes are.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is one of those. I think one of the reasons why this is very difficult is that when you think of additions to your life, you generally think of a partner,
Positive
kids,
additions.
not just positive, but like a partner, kids, or pets. And these things you plan ahead for.
Yeah.
You know, like you plan your wedding, you plan a relationship before you commit to weddings. Generally, you know, for the most part, for most
Save
people,
up for your engagement.
you save up for your engagement,
Save up for your destination wedding.
save up
yeah,
for a house.
that's true.
You know, you
Yeah.
plan for how your finances are going to look, how your lives are going to change. With kids, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Generally,
I want 2 kids.
I want
so
2
they're
kids, you
full.
plan-
I'll have to have like so much.
yeah, you plan for the insurance, you
Yeah.
plan for the savings, you plan for what you're going to do, even
Kids
with
need
pets.
studies.
Yeah.
Blah, blah,
Diba? You're
blah.
like, oh, what is it
Pet
gonna look like?
insurance.
What is it gonna do I need a sitter? Do I need this? So generally with these additions, you think of it first before you commit to it. I feel like one of the challenges with parenting your parents is that it's not something you plan for. Kasi your parents have been a part of your life this whole time.
Yeah.
So you don't think of them as new additions.
We've kind of desensitized ourselves into thinking that they are invincible.
Yes, because like, you know, sila yung superhero natin eh. Everything they fix. So as we were growing up,
We didn't
We
think
fail
about
to-
it that way.
yeah, we fail to look back to realize now, wait, we're growing older. They're also growing older.
Yeah, it can go both ways.
And when you're planning for your future, you just think of your parents as part of your present and maybe your past. And then for the future, you kind of just picture them as like, they'll always be like that.
no, because you
But
don't
they're
want to
not.
think about that
Yes.
way because it's like kind of negative.
Yeah,
for
like they
us.
don't want to confront their. We also don't
We
want
also
to
don't want
confront
to
their
confront losing
mortality.
them, right? Like, yeah.
And so it makes it difficult to then
It's a
plan
hard
ahead.
conversation.
It's a difficult
Yeah.
conversation.
Even
to
with
initiate.
yourself. But
Yeah.
if you think about when you're planning to have kids or planning to bring in a pet into your home, you start planning for what that's gonna look like for vacations in the future. Diba? Kanino ko iiwan yung aso? Pwede ko bang iwan ng matagal sa bahay? May pera ba ako pang
Okay
daycare?
ba ako magkaroon ng pet dito sa strata
Yeah,
ko?
pwede ba sa building codes namin? Ganun, ganun.
May ka-playdate ba siya?
Yes,
Oh.
but then so you've already factored that in before you get the dog. But with the parents, you've been growing up with them.
May ka-playdate din ba
But,
siya?
but now you realize you have to start planning like that also for them. Do I have a
Yeah,
budget for
diba?
them? Do I have a?
You don't know yung help nila eh.
That's that's the other difficult part is that you can't plan for their
We
timeline.
don't control every single aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the broad thing is like now that they have also peers that are getting older, that are getting senile, demented, and all that. I'm sure they see it as well.
Mm-hmm.
In my case, my dad, because I lost my mom earlier,
Mm.
so it kind of made him confront. Oh yeah, what happened to grandpa can also happen to me. Yung parang ganon.
Mm.
So he's already bought the plot. He knows how
Mm-hmm.
things should go. Last wishes niya, he's kind of mentioned that in passing. But there's certain things, the important things that he didn't really want to converse about, like when my mom had gotten sick, ang dami niyang mga tinago-tago na certain documents that we had to like really search through the whole house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she never really got the chance to tell us where the heck she did all her buried treasure things. Yeah. So in a similar vein, I think my dad also has some certain buried treasure things that we
But
probably
nobody knew.
we probably won't know until okay, that time comes that he wants to share, which hopefully will happen soon. But because I'd like it to happen sooner than later, kaysa naman naghahalungkat ka.
Totoo. Like I think when my friend's mom passed away recently, there were a couple of different properties that came out of the woodwork. Same with my friend's dad. Na blessing nga kasi sa kanila parang properties yung lumabas sa woodwork. But I'm sure there are some stories na utang naman yung lumabas sa
Yun na
woodwork.
nga, yeah. No,
Yung mga
I really want
loans
to-
pala na hindi alam
You'd
ng
like
mga
to
anak.
know about these things so that you don't get caught unawares din, di ba?
Because I guess for them, they're like,
Or may hidden, yung hidden
Hidden other
anak-anak
child.
pala.
Yes.
Sus,
Okay,
yun
yeah,
ang
yeah,
mahirap.
there's a lot of things like that. Yeah,
love
we hear
child
about
pala.
we hear about those, yes, but like these are conversations, difficult conversations that ideally should be happening before and not after. But initiating it is a difficult conversation.
It is. Because I think also in their minds, right, like, because they're not thinking about their own mortality also, they're not really planning about, oh, I need to pass this off. Because I think for them, they're like, well, let me resolve it. I'll resolve it anyway. So
I'll
they
take
don't
care
need
of
to
it.
know.
I don't want to burden them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? When my dad passed naman, kasi my kuya was before nasa Dubai.
Mm.
So I was going back and forth. So when my dad passed, my siblings and I, we talked about it. And we decided na, kasi I was here na and my sister was here na. We decided na si kuya na lang ang maiiwan sa Philippines. Kaya, kasi otherwise, mom will be by herself.
Mm.
And
Oh yeah, your mom was already back there
yeah.
at that
At
time.
that time, she
She
went back.
and stayed. Yeah.
stayed kasi she took care of dad before he passed.
And so your brother had kind of taken on the eldest kuya thing and stayed with your mom.
But we, as siblings, we
Yeah.
talked about it.
Yeah.
We made that decision.
Okay.
Mm.
But now we're still scattered around.
But you guys still talk. It's
Yeah.
good that you guys kept
we
that
do.
open
We do.
conversation, right?
We do.
So yeah.
Regularly we do. We discuss a lot of different things.
So at least you're on the same page on
Yeah.
a lot of these major themes.
Your mom's not in the Philippines right now, right?
She's in the US.
She's working there, right?
Yeah, she's working.
At least okay.
As if
like,
we can stop her, no?
as
Iba
much
din
as you
yung-
want to.
Iba din yung challenge ng ganon, no? Na,
Yeah.
wait, ma, but you need to... No, kaya ko pa.
She's the type that if you stop her from doing anything,
She'll do it anyway.
She
She'll do it.
can't be in one place sitting in one chair. She can't be like
She'll
that.
be busy doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maboboard siyang walang ginagawa.
Sobra. Ganun siya. She doesn't go out at all. She
It's also
likes
a common theme among your titas. They're like non-stop.
Your titas are like that.
Your
That's
titas
true.
are also like
true. That's their generation. I said.
Yeah.
That's their generation.
Yeah,
That's
they're
how they
used
were
to.
brought up.
That's how they were raised.
No, that's
Yeah.
how they dealt with ADHD back then. You do something
Oh my
about it.
God.
You don't medicate it. You do something about it.
Because my grandma, my lola, she was very strict
Yeah.
with them. All of them. All of them.
So it's a parenting thing.
It's a parenting
It's a
thing.
parenting thing.
There's no such thing as ADHD. You should work
So
on that.
all of them, they're very used to, yung kumikilos sa loob ng house.
Mm.
They used to doing all the
busy
domestic
work.
stuff.
Mhm.
They know how to cook. They're crazy about cleaning. All those little things.
Vacuum
So,
review. Part 22.
yeah, so lahat sila, ganun sila.
Kaya, yeah. Totoo man.
And then, for our generation, not so much because they wanted to do everything by themselves, diba?
Oh, just like my mom chasing you out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Kaya nga, like when it comes to, Tita, pahingin naman ng tips dun sa vacuum. Ano yung pinakamagandang vacuum? You know. They know what they're talking about.
But then it's one of those weird things because they're like, they complain that we don't do enough in the house.
But they will still do it
But because they
anyway.
do everything,
Oh,
so
yeah,
we were
that's-
raised not knowing half the stuff that they know.
Oh, yeah.
And then we try to do it and mapagalitan ka pa kasi mali ang gawa mo.
Oh,
Yes.
sayang ang ingredients. That's my mom's
Totoo.
Not
logic.
up to their standard.
Sayang ang ingredients. Your effort is not worth it. So, don't even bother. Tapos mamaya, pag hindi ka naman nag-bother, bakit hindi ka naman
tumutulog?
nag-try? Like, okay, they can be
I
contradictory,
know.
but like, that's how they are.
Our parents are weird, but we love them still.
Yeah, we still
Me
do what we
too.
need to do. Yeah.
We are the way we are.
Because
of them.
See,
For better or for
this
worse.
is why we're so adaptable, even to toxic environments, because we know.
It's like they will let you be on your own, but you know they're
Hovering.
still there, yeah.
They're hovering
They're
in the background.
Kasi for them, that's how they show their love. Na
Yeah.
very service-oriented sila.
Yeah.
Pag
That's their
ganyan,
love language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, I'll
Service.
take care of you, ganyan, ganyan.
And they do, even if you're adult, nah.
Oh, they won't say it. But it's true that when they give you cut up fruit, that is I love you. In
Yes.
Asian mom.
Or that's I'm sorry.
Yeah. So when my mom does
Nagsigawan
the
kayo.
cut up fruit,
Yeah.
I realized that's like looking back, like the cut up fruit is like, oh yeah, I'm concerned about them. This is how I show my love. Also, para hindi din masayang.
Yeah. That's the universal. Sige na, bati na tayo.
Yeah. Ganun nga sila.
After mag-away, bibigyan ng food.
So yeah. So I think yeah, open communication din. Like no matter how minimal,
Mm-hmm.
it's up to us to try to initiate, but
Mm-hmm.
you can't really have them talk about it in black and white. Eh. They're of the generation that you need to have, how do you call this, analogs, and you need to have some symbolism and may kwento-kwento. They're that kind of pasikot-sikot eh.
I mean, you need to, with anyone. Like, we've all worked in healthcare at one point,
Yes.
and we understand the necessity for
There's a necessity.
talking to people in a language that they understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need
And
to meet
that's-
them on that level.
Yes, and that's not just language. No, it's English or Filipino or Chinese. It's in language na they speak more with pictures, so they deal better with.
Or
Tita,
with
parang ganito
gestures.
kasi yan eh. Ito yung pag inisip mo na parang para yan yung kape na pag nilagyan mo ng asukal, ganito mangyari. Like they speak more in that than in
You
metaphors.
need to have some
or-
examples, yes.
Yes. And it's understanding that, because part of that is part of what we were talking about nga nung unang-una was the generational differences.
True.
And
Yeah. So
then
we need to
finding
understand it.
and then finding the commonalities and common ground.
And meeting them halfway too.
Yeah.
Even though that means 3/4 of the way up for us. That's fine.
Hindi talaga siya half.
No, but we still try to meet them
We meet them part way.
part ways. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, in closing naman,
Okay.
what can you say about, what advice can you give to our listeners about parenting their parents?
You wanna start?
No, I want to close.
Sige, di una na. Pag una na ako, tapos ikaw, tapos, sige.
Sige.
I think for me, as somebody where, I guess of all our parents, my parents are the youngest. So this is parang, I'm just starting this journey for me. The advice that I would say would be yung patience. Just have a lot more patience. I'm looking at some of my friends that are new moms, how they deal with their kids,
Yeah.
the amount of patience they have for their kids. And then I see the same friends deal with their parents
In
and
a similar
how
vein, yeah.
and how there's not as much patience for their parents as they do with their kids. And then I'm like, interesting. But when I see those dynamics, I'm reminded na, minsan nakakainis. Minsan yung feeling na, but ang kulit ni mama. But ang kulit ni papa. But then you realize, you think of, I see my friends' kids. And I'm like, I was like that before. Ako yung madaming tanong.
Ikaw yung makulit.
Ako yung
You can relate.
makulit. Yeah, and I'm like, ma, bakit ganito? Ha? Eh bakit? Eh bakit? Eh bakit? And now it's them. Na parang,
Bakit ganito?
What do you mean Google dyan napunta? Eh paano yung website na isa? Saan napunta yung website? Eh mama kasi yung search engine yung isa. So search engine, paano yung website may search din sa loob? Mami, iba yung search function dun sa... sabi mo search engine yung Google. I'm like... And then I listen to the questions my kids, my friends' kids ask them. And I'm like, wait, I used to be like that to my parents. And I know the things I know now because they took their time with me. They were patient with me. So for me, it's that and I reflect on and understand the necessity for patience. Na whatever it is that you're feeling towards them because they're makulit or they're like that, remember that at one point that was us. At one point tayo yung makulit. At one point ako yung magulo. At one point ako yung hindi nagpaplano. Because I remember recently, because there was one time na parang I had things to do. Like I had my day planned. But then something came up for my mom. And then I had to drive her somewhere. And it was important. But it threw the rest of my plans out the window. And I'm just like, but why didn't you plan for this ahead? Why didn't you do this? And then as I was sitting there, parang I was reminded na, so ganito pala yun nung gigising ako ng madaling araw. And like, Mami, yung homework ko pala due bukas, nakalimutan ko.
Mami, kailangan mo ko ng bicos.
Yeah. And then she has to get out of bed in the middle of the night, or on a Saturday, she has to like now start driving around looking for materials for my costume. Na sa Monday na pala, mag-iisip siya paano tatahiin. And like, she also had plans for her weekend, but now it's all gone. And so I'm reminding you, patience to realize na whatever it is that they're going through, na you feel like inconvenience sa life ko, I used to be the inconvenience for their life. And that helps me deal with that a bit more. Na, no, if I help them with this, then it's this. So yun yung patience. Okay.
Sa akin naman, I think whatever their kakulitan is and whatever their questions are, how we deal with it, we should always remember, like yung mga yan, it comes from a place of love. Kaya sila makulit, it's because they care about you. Tatanungin ka nila, saan ka pupunta? Alas 8 pa lang pa. Saan ka pupunta? Aalis ka na naman.
Alis ka na naman, kahapon kalalabas mo lang.
Or kung hindi, 9 o'clock na sa function ka na. Ano oras ka babalik dito sa bahay?
Kararating ko lang pa.
Yeah, mga ganun. Okay, well, all this kakulitan, it actually comes from a place of love. Kaya kanilang kinukulitan ng ganyan. Or kung hindi, tatanungin ka, it's because like sometimes KSP lang din sila, kulang sa pansin.
Don't take it the wrong way.
Don't take it the wrong way. It's all because like they're kind of concerned that they haven't heard back from you in a while.
Yeah.
You haven't liked my post. Or you didn't watch the video. Walang check mark. Walang comment. So it's like, okay, fine. Sa susunod, puro may heart. Okay.
Yeah, it's like everything.
Tsaka magbibigay din ako ng mga hour-long videos sa kanya. Okay?
Para may ginagawa din siya.
Yes.
Sendan mo din siya.
Because I also think about him because wala na siyang magawa na iba. Sure. I'll send
Mahabaan mo
him.
din yung videos.
The history videos that I send him, sometimes 2 hours long. Ha?
Yes.
Yeah. Feature film length. Yeah. Pero okay lang yan. At least he's engaged. May cognitive din yan care ha.
Totoo.
It needs to be something that na
Mental exercises.
Stimulates him, makes him think, makes him talk about it, and that he has like-minded friends na ganyan din.
Yes.
Mga pareho niyang ka-conspiracy theorists. Yeah.
Ikaw, Joe.
Diba? Kahit anong kakulitan ng parents natin, sabi nyo nga, it all comes from yung concern, yung love, and all that. For me, one advice I could give is do not neglect your parents. Because at this day and time, it's always
It's so easy to keep in touch.
yeah, everybody's so busy with their own world.
Yeah.
Na sometimes it's so easy to forget about them. But that's the worst thing you can do to a parent. Kasi they don't want to feel na you don't need them anymore.
It's not just the parents. I think it's that generation din.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So,
Yeah.
especially when they're at that age, they're very emotional na.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They feel a lot of,
I'm so useless.
I'm not needed anymore.
I don't need them.
My kids don't need me.
They never call.
Diba?
True.
And that hurts them deeply.
Yeah, that's true. They
Diba?
now
Because
that they dwell on it.
all parents will dedicate their time, their love to their kids. Diba? At one point, although I know there are some parents who don't
Who are
really
the
care
exception?
about,
The exception. The
There
exception.
always are.
There always
Yeah.
are exceptions, but,
but
for the most
generally,
part, yes.
generally speaking, get them involved in your life. Kung malayo kayo, just give them a call or update them what's going on or ask
Send
them
them
how
2-hour-long videos.
their day is
Yeah.
or Mother's Day. So
Yeah, Mother's Day just passed.
Yeah.
So sana nag-greet kayo sa mothers nyo.
yes.
Or send them those 2-hour-long videos.
Or send them our podcast.
with our
Pag-usapan natin yan.
our failed attempts at cooking their way. Because it will never amount to the same level as they have. But we tried.
Mother's Day, Father's Day coming up next month. So those little
Little things.
to just remind us of we should be grateful for our parents no matter what.
Mhm.
It's not like an utang na loob, but it's
Appreciation.
you honor your parents,
And
diba?
appreciating them. They've also gone through quite a lot to deal with us.
Yes. So
Kaya ang kulitin natin.
Totoo, tayo din yun at one point.
and syempre unconditional love kasi no matter what, our parents will always be there for us. Ayun lang.
I think if you're one of those people that are blessed to actually have parents that are there for you, diba? We understand that in the world that we live in, there are parents that are not ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or there are parents that actually are completely absent, whether by choice or not by choice.
Yeah.
So I think we understand that some of you listening might not have the same experiences that we have in terms of how our parents are there for us, they're with us, and we feel their love and we appreciate them. And so for those of you that do have your parents with you and you have a good relationship with them, don't take them for granted.
Yes.
For those of you that don't have your physical parent, your biological parents caring for you, or you don't have a relationship with them, I'm sure you have parental figures in your life.
Yeah.
And I'm sure those parental figures would appreciate the same care that you would have given your biological parents. Na
Yeah.
none of us are ever truly, fully alone. Now, if you look back in your life, there's always going to be some people that contributed to where you are.
Your mother
Yeah.
figure,
Yeah,
father
mother figure, father figure, or
The
parental
supportive
figure,
family,
kung gusto
yeah.
nilang non-binary sila, na, honor those.
Yeah.
Na yun din yung mga parents yun na pinaparent yun na lang in the future din.
As they say, it takes a village.
It takes a village.
Or sometimes it's the grandparents
Oh.
Yes, yeah.
that stands as
It takes the whole
parents.
angkan to take care of you. Ang kulit mo kasi.
Wala angkan. Yeah. Well, thank you, Candice.
Thank
really
you
enjoyed
for
having you
having
with
me.
us.
Yes.
This is the first but not the last for you.
Really? I've been sick for a while.
Wala na. Hindi mo napansin yung pinirmahan mo.
Meron palang stipulations.
Yes. No, but
Fine prints.
May fine print. No, but thank you. We really
Thank you,
appreciate your
everyone.
insight. Thank you
Thank
for
you
sharing
again,
your
Candice.
story.
Okay, thank you, Din.
And yeah, so again, thank you everyone. Thank you for
Yeah.
listening.
Give your parents some love and hugs and kisses.
And whoever the parental figures in your life, give them some appreciation.
Yes.
Give them a call.
Give them a call, a text, an email kung nag-email sila.
Or
Snail mail.
visit them in
Or
person.
visit them.
Visit them in person. Snail mail.
Snail mail.
Snail mail works, yeah.
Or sa Instagram kung, maganon sila. And on that note, remember, we're also on Instagram and Facebook.
Shameless plugging.
And feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. What are some advice you would have for people who are now starting to parent their parents?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love to hear from you.
So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube and Spotify.
Yes.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Title the podcast. Okay?
And again, this is Joe.
And Joe. Bye for now.
Bye.